Do you get moody, bloated, anxious, irritated, even a little bit depressed a few days before your period? Have you ever wondered if there is a natural way to reduce your PMS? Hello, my successful and healthy earthlings. Mihaela Ragush here, naturopath and founder of the Natural Health Podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you a natural way to reduce premenstrual syndrome. I'm going to go through in this episode, what is PMS? Can a particular probiotic help you with your PMS? And then 3 tips to reduce your PMS. And at the end of this episode, I'm going to give you an opportunity to join a health and success oriented community by joining the Natural Health newsletter by clicking the link below. Welcome to the Natural Health Podcast, where we bring awareness to sustainable health in the business hustle space. Natural Health Podcast is perfect for the high-performing, business-minded individuals who want to work with their biochemistry to achieve success and optimal health. It's Mondays with Mihaela. That's right, me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Absolutely love, and appreciate your support. On Mondays here, I provide you with simple, savvy, and sustainable health hacks to optimize your health. And in today's episode, I want to talk about a very interesting topic, and that is PMS. But I'm also going to be talking about probiotics, right? I mean, we have all heard about probiotics before, but the question is, can a certain probiotic help you with your PMS? Wow, that's exactly what I want to go into. But before we got into the exciting probiotics and what this probiotic is and so forth, let's go and talk a little bit about PMS. I know that as a woman, if you are a woman or if you're a man that's listening, you have probably heard about PMS before. Either you have experienced it or you know someone dear to you that has. And it's not the nicest thing that individuals experience. And it's taken a number of years to actually become a thing, because back in the days, it just used to be like, oh, well, you're just getting a period. It's just normal. And you laying in bed a day before and crying and all these things, it's just normal. But let me tell you that there's no such thing as normal. There may be something underneath it, right? And there could be a number of things that you could be doing to assist it. So PMS is premenstrual syndrome. It is a constellation of physical and psychological symptoms that start during the luteal phase of the menstrual cycle, or 1 to 2 weeks before the onset of menses. The symptoms usually abate at the onset of menses, so they usually stop once you bleed. Once the symptoms of PMS become severe, the patient can actually be diagnosed with premenstrual dysphoric disorder. And there is a difference between PMS and PMDD. This is something that needs to be looked at, because a lot of people have been actually diagnosed with PMS, or actually even sometimes diagnosed with generalized anxiety, but it actually may be PMDD, and it's something you need to look into. But although some 150 symptoms have been listed as premenstrual, the most common symptoms are below. This is crazy that there's about 150 symptoms. Some of them include decreased energy, tension, irritability, anger, food cravings, depression, headaches, altered sex drive, breast pain, muscle aches, abdominal bloating, edema in the fingers and ankles, and so forth. And there's like 100 and something more, right? And you might be like, oh, that no one really experiences that. Or you might be like, oh my gosh, I experience all of them. The thing is that PMS is estimated to affect between 30 to 40% of menstruating women, and 80% of women experience premenstrual emotional, physical changes due to do not have much difficulty. So this is a large percentage of individual women who are menstruating who have PMS, right? The peak occurrence is among women in their 30s and 40s. In most cases, symptoms are relatively mild. However, in about 3 to 8% of women, symptoms can be severe enough to have negative impacts on their lives, putting home life and work life and everything around them in jeopardy, because they just can't deal. There's so much happening, they're in so much pain, or they might have so much anxiety around it, or they might be having so many different thoughts that usually don't come across, and it just jeopardizes their personal life, but also their business. So I'm talking about, like, if you have this coming onto you every month and you're a business individual, this is something that is definitely impacting the success of your business, but also your health, right? This is something that needs to be looked into. So severe PMS with depression, irritability, and severe mood swings is referred to what I mentioned before, which was premenstrual dysphoric disorder, PMDD, and has a separate diagnostic category in the 5th edition of the American Psychological Association Diagnostic and Statistics Manual of Mental Disorders, for short DSM-5. You probably heard about that too. So under DSM-5, PMS and PMD are totally different. Look into it. There's total difference between them, and they come across differently in an individual. So the etiology of PMS is actually not really understood. There are studies saying that it's not just a result of simple excess or deficiency of any hormone. Several theories have been proposed to explain the cause of PMS. Currently, the strongest is an interaction between ovarian steroids and the brain's neurotransmitters. So there's a lot happening during PMS, and when you understand the female cycle, it kind of, makes sense that females have this cyclic feeling, this cyclic thing in them, because we're cyclic beings. Everything around us is in a cycle, 24-hour cycle, a year cycle, and so forth. There's cycle happening around us, and us as women, or menstruating women, I think we're fortunate enough to feel these cycles a little bit more, which is actually beautiful because it makes us be more in touch and more in tune to these cycles, and it affects us a little bit more, which I think is actually beautiful. But unfortunately, some of these women, this PMS actually, or PMD actually impacts them a lot more, where they sometimes can't handle it. It doesn't mean that they're weak because they can't handle it. It's just something maybe a little bit out of whack in their body. And if you put all those pieces back together, the biochemistry, then things will flow properly again during the flow. Okay, so let's look at, can a probiotic help with PMS? I mean, if you haven't heard about what a probiotic is, you've definitely been living under the rock. There are so many probiotics out there and everyone is jumping on them. Probiotic for this, probiotic for that. The thing that you need to understand with probiotics is not one supplement. Probiotics is about hundreds of different species, right? It comes in so many different species. So just because you're taking a probiotic doesn't mean it's doing everything a probiotic is supposed to do, because there's specific probiotics for specific things. All right, this is what I want to get across. So a probiotic is defined as a live microorganism with health benefits upon ingestion and may improve a variety of physical and psychological functions, starting from the gut to the brain, such as cognition, depression, sleep quality. And there's this particular strain called probiotic strain, Lactobacillus rhamnosus, RHAMNOSUS, and that actually alters emotional behavioral through modulating the expression of GABA A, GABA B receptors in mice. Absolutely love this. So anyone with anxiety or anything along those lines, emotions, this is the probiotic. That is amazing. But the probiotic in question for PMS is, drum roll, even Kipper's getting excited if you can hear him barking, which you'd probably do throughout all my podcasts. He's not going anywhere. He's staying right here because he is absolutely amazing. And he's probably, he always barks. The funniest thing is he barks when people walk past, right? So he's kind of like, giving him a new thing called the marshal. He's a walking marshal. He's like, every time someone walks past, he's like, woof woof, congratulations for walking. That's the way I see it. So I get excited when he barks because I'm like, yes, there's people outside walking. Anyway, off topic now. Let's get into the probiotic in question. That's what I was talking about. The probiotic in question is Lactobacillus gasseri, GASSERI CP2305, right? It is a unique strain that was isolated from the stool sample of a healthy volunteer in 1994. CP2305 exhibits pleiotropic functions in human clinical studies such as stress relief, improvement of sleep quality, and enhancement recovery from fatigue. This is amazing, right? So this Lactobacillus, I want to call Lactobacillus G, CP2305, originally isolated from the stool of a healthy volunteer, exhibited stress-relieving activities. Daily intake of this particular probiotic for 4 weeks showed ameliorated stress-associated symptoms in medical students participating in a severe decision course and improved the clinical symptoms of patients with irritable bowel syndrome. So this daily intake containing this probiotic beverage for 12 weeks reduced stress-associated mental and physical symptoms. How amazing is that, right? The observations suggest that the administration of this probiotic, CP2305, may affect central nervous system function and modulate the HPA axis, therefore making this probiotic, CP2305, a psychobiotic. Amazing, right? Psychobiotic is actually a new term in regards to probiotics that assist with mental function or anything to do with the nervous system and so forth. This is amazing, right? So the study that I came across, I found absolutely amazing. And the study I came across was designed as a double-blinded placebo-controlled parallel group clinical trial, and it ran from July 2017 to May 2018. It was done on 56 females aged between 20 and 35 at the Tokushima University in Japan. The enrolled subjects were randomly allocated to either the CP2305 or a placebo. So they didn't know what they were given. This is what I love. It's double-blinded, nor did the person giving it to them knew. These are amazing studies. The participants were instructed to ingest 2 capsules of the placebo or the CP2305 once daily over the course of 6 menstrual cycles, so averaging about 183 days. During the trial, the participants were asked not to consume fermented milks, foods containing live bacteria. So they'll tell them to take other probiotics such as yogurts and so forth, just to see that this is the one that's working. So that's what they're told not to eat. So the results. These are the results. Ready for them? The CP2305 group scored significantly lower than the placebo group for the items depressed mood, anxious, decreased interest in activities, easily fidgetable, and sleep more. These data suggest the daily intake of CP2305 improved psychological and sleep-related PMS, so premenstrual symptoms. They found that daily administration of CP2305 significantly improved psychological, premenstrual symptoms and increased luteal phase level of reproductive hormones. These findings provide new insight into this probiotic's functions in activating premenstrual syndrome. This is amazing. So it revealed 3 features. It revealed 3 features from these probiotics. Firstly, it appears that effects of central nervous system resulting in attenuation of stress-induced HPA response and improve the sleep quality. Second, this probiotic may alter gut microbe composition, resulting in increase in sulfate acid production. Amazing. And thirdly, valuable and killed CP2304 exert similar effects as do these other probiotics, therefore considering So essentially, this is saying, I want to put the graph up here. It's saying this Lactobacillus gasseri CP2305 tablets daily for 6 menstrual cycles improved, reduced depressed mood, reduced anxiety, reduced fatigue, and increased reproductive hormone. This is amazing, and this study is giving a little bit more light on how important our gut health is for overall function for our optimal health, and how important it is to what we're ingesting into our food, into our stomachs, into our gut, and how our gut is connected to absolutely everything, including PMS, and which is including with our brain, our moods, and things like that. This is absolutely amazing. So here are some 3 tips to reduce premenstrual syndrome, right? Symptoms. Number 1, probiotics. This particular probiotics, this CP2305, that is the number 1 thing, but please make sure that you're talking to a healthcare professional on how much you should take, if you should take it, if you can, and so forth. If it's interacting with anything else that you're taking, this is important. Number 2 is sleep. If you're sleeping well, then things and your hormones, because we're cyclic, is going to fall back into place. Number 3 is balance your hormones. Make sure your hormones are balanced, because if your hormones aren't balanced, means your neurotransmitters aren't balanced, so many things aren't balanced, so forth, equals PMS or PMD. This is absolutely crazy. So the key takeaway here is to ensure that you're looking after yourself, and to ensure that if you do have PMS, there are things that you can do as simple as adding probiotics into your diet to assist with it. So there you have it. If you know someone who would love this podcast, who would love this episode, who would love to learn about this particular probiotic and PMS, or someone who suffers with PMS, send this to them. Share it right now. Click below, share, and send it to them. They're going to love you, because you know what? You have improved their life, because having these monthly PMSs, this is monthly. This comes on every 4 weeks. This is crazy for some individuals, and it be causing them so much pain and so many health issues, and you're the one that could be able to help them. Share the Natural Health Podcast with them. There you have it. And remember, Do what you do best. Love, like, share the Natural Health Podcast. And remember, the missing link between failure and success is your health. And remember to sign up to the Natural Health Podcast newsletter by clicking the link below, and you're going to get all the bonuses, all the newest research sent to you, special bonuses. There you have it. Remember, the missing link between failure and success is your health. Content and information provided here is opinion of Mahela Ragoose and is for information purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. It is not intended to provide medical advice or take the place of medical advice or any current treatment you're undertaking. Consult your own medical professionals for any medical issues that you may be having. This entire disclaimer also applies to any guests or contributors to the Natural Health Podcast. It is advised that you consult your doctor or healthcare professional in relation to any health concerns you may be having. Mahela Ragoose does not take responsibility for any health consequences which occur from a person listening, viewing, or reading this content. Under no circumstances shall the Natural Health Podcast, Mahela Ragoose, any guest or contributors to the Natural Health Podcast, or any employees, associates, or affiliates of Mahela Ragoose be responsible for damages arising from the information provided on the Natural Health Podcast. By listening to this podcast, you agree not to use this podcast as medical advice to treat any medical conditions in either yourself or others. Please note, if you're taking prescription, do not stop your medication or start a new protocol, including but not limited to supplements, diet, lifestyle changes without consulting your doctor or healthcare professional. If you or any person has a medical concern, you should consult with your healthcare provider or seek other professional medical advice. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something that you have read or heard on the Natural Health Podcast or in any linked materials. If you think you may have a medical emergency, call your doctor or emergency services immediately. Neither Mahela Ragoose nor the publisher of this content takes responsibility for the possible health consequences of any person or persons reading or listening or following the information in the educational content.